is that the West, the United States, Europe, Australia, Canada, didn't care enough about these people more than it cared about the diplomatic, economic, and security relationship with the United Arab Emirates to try to stop it. This is a report about our failure to stop the largest mass killing, probably single incident mass killing of the Darfur genocide that began 20 years ago.
Nathaniel, thank you very much for joining me.
Thank you.
Nathaniel Raymond is the Executive Director of the Humanitarian Research Lab at the Yale School of Public Health in the US, which has been integral in tracking some of the killings and incidents that have been taking place in Sudan. The UN says these incidents show the hallmarks of genocide. 6:26. Australian exporters are facing a higher tariff to send their products into the US, with Donald Trump vowing to increase the baseline duty to 15% after a Supreme Court check on his power. Joining me is business and economics correspondent Carrington Clark. Carrington, what's happened here and what sort of response have we seen from the President?
Yeah, good day, Sally. I've been trying to rack my brain about the appropriate term for what the Supreme Court has done. The President called his tariff announcement Liberation Day. Perhaps this is Presidential Constraint Day from the Supreme Court. Basically, the Supreme Court has said the act of the Congress that Donald Trump was relying upon to put in place the Liberation Day tariffs does not give him the power he thought it did. This was the International and Emergency Economic Powers Act, which he used to both put in place that 10% baseline duty, which is what Australia had applied to its exports to the United States, but also hit other countries with much higher so-called reciprocal tariffs, that he wasn't able to do that unilaterally in the way that he did. So it has removed all those tariffs that were announced in Liberation Day. Now, there are other tariffs that are still in place. These are specific sector tariffs, like, for example, the tariffs on steel and aluminium. They are in place because they're under different acts of Congress. But this is a real check on Donald Trump's power. He has always said that he has this extraordinary power to just hit countries with tariffs really at will with no real explanation, although he did say part of the reason he was hitting Canada and Mexico and China was because of fentanyl being exported to the United States. That's all been thrown down. Now, this does raise a real question about the limitations of his powers that Donald Trump is pushing through. Not only did he attack the Supreme Court's decision-making, including going personally after some of the people he appointed to the Supreme Court, but he also says it raises real questions about exactly what to do with the billions of dollars that have already been raised since this tariff was in place.
But what does it mean for the global economy, Carrington?
So the question now, of course, is how will this be enacted? And Donald Trump has already put in place, he says that he's putting in place his 15% tariff, which will go into effect tomorrow. But this does seem to have once again reset the deck when it comes to these negotiations regarding the tariffs. He is expected to go to China at the end of March, early April. He thought he had great negotiating power because of how high the tariffs were that were in place. He no longer has that. So there is huge confusion about exactly what happens now, this new 15% tariff coming into effect, but also what it means as far as other countries' responses. Now, Australia has already said that it is going to look at all options. In the past, Australia hasn't tried to go tit for tat with America. Instead, we've tried to keep a relatively low profile. But now that we're facing a 15% tariff instead of a 10% tariff, perhaps that changes the calculation for Australia. We wait to see how the government plays this.
And we'll hear more about that throughout the program. Carrington, thank you. That's Carrington Clark there. Coming up, you'll hear how Donald Trump's latest 15% tariffs could affect Australian beef exporters. And later, the opposition is calling to criminalise those who help Australians with terrorist links to return home. Ted O'Brien, the Shadow Foreign Affairs Minister, will be my guest. All that and much more headed your way this morning on Radio National Breakfast, right across the network. It's coming up towards news time now. It is 6:30.
ABC News. Good morning, I'm Gareth Mundy.